also joined by Andy. Andy, how's it going?
What up? What up?
And back from the Redemption House. You haven't seen him in a while. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Weston. West, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Trev. Thanks for having me on, as always.
God, love to hear it, Adam. So we are back off the rails episode. Honestly, we have no idea where this is even going. I don't even know where to begin. We just kind of want to get back in front of you guys. I mean, this is kind of like our favorite time of the year, and the challenge is nowhere to be found. So we're kind of just like, what is going on? And I'm talking about legit challenge. I'm not talking about all-star spinoffs or all-star bullshit. I'm talking about TJ in the peak. I'm talking seeing the good old people, which I guess the good old people are on All Stars now. But where should we begin? Alex, I don't know. You're kind of the co-captain of this podcast. Where should we begin?
So I got a question. I just looked it up because I was curious. When do you think the last day of the real flagship challenge was? We're recording this now on May 18th. It feels like it's been forever. I just looked it up. It has been forever. I can't tell. Yeah, okay, so they did the reunion. Anybody got a guess for when they did the reunion for the last season?
Wasn't it before Christmas? No,
Yeah.
It was no. Wait, it was? Oh my God.
It was December 22nd last year.
What a legendary date.
God, people forget I was in Hawaii for that.
God. So you're telling me, Alex, we have not had the challenge on MTV since December 22nd, 2021.
And the next season hasn't even started filming yet.
Oh,
Hasn't even started filming?
that hurts.
I think that's that. I mean, for me, that's part of why I wanted to, get everybody on a pod, because I have the challenge itch. Like, it's been 5 months. It's going to be even, a few more months before we get it back on. So we are literally right in the middle of just challenge off-season drought.
Well, let me go this route with you. Could this be a good thing? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think I'm probably the number one STP listener in the world. What's up, Mikey the Doctor? Good to see you on the live stream. And so correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys very often talk about the challenge fatigue. So who's to say this break isn't actually a good thing for the franchise?
Well, let me go this route with you, because it seems like this is where we're going now. Back in the day, it used to be like 2 seasons, maybe not every 12 months, but maybe every like 14, 15. And those were 12 to 13 episodes. There was a lot packed into it. And the seasons themselves were good. And like there was no fatigue, because you get like a couple months of the challenge, a little bit of a break, couple months of the challenge. But now it seems like they're just trying to do like once a year, drag it on for like 3 to 4 months as if it's some sort of sport. I know Bananas thinks otherwise, but now it's like one season per year. And then we have fatigue throughout the whole season. And then we have to wait 5-6 months until the next one. That's what I think it's kind of starting to feel like. Who else feels like that?
Yeah, and like in this era of the challenge, they've been doing the opposite of what they're doing right now. They've been pumping them out. One season ends, the next one's coming out. There's 22 episodes in a row, 90 minutes, and yeah, by the end of it, we're just exhausted. And so I think if this gap that we're in right now was another short gap, it would probably be a bad thing. We would probably just get another below average season. It would blend together with everything else. We'd get, the Caseys, Joshes of the world running around. But now at least like there's a chance that maybe it's given everybody a chance to just reset, think about what we're doing here, and get some better people and better shows going forward.
Yeah, but let me go this route with you. Do we honestly think giving time off, is that a positive thing for competitors or a negative thing? Because are we going to forget about some of these? Like, if we throw Turbo back out there, would we even remember Turbo? Like, I think the gap is 2-1. My opinion. I think they needed to start around this time. I think. Because that would have been, 5 months off, 6 months off? That's the perfect time. We don't need – I mean, realistically, now we're sitting at, 8-9 months, if that?
Who knows? I mean, they haven't started filming.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I think one of the I think maybe the best example of time off was the classic Rivals 3 invasion kind of time off. And I want to say that was like maybe 7 months, just a little over a half year. And if you guys remember, we talk about it often, but the invasion hype, it was just absurd. And Invasion was not a good season, but you were able to go a few extra episodes into the season without realizing that it was bad because of how good the hype was going into it. So who knows?
Yeah. You had the exact amount of time away from the challenge, especially in that case after such a big moment. Like I've been on record, but after such a big moment with the steal, that people are like genuinely excited for it to come back. And I think,
Right.
yeah, I think if the next season, what are we on? 38, I think is the next one. If 38 would have come on our TVs 2 months ago, I don't think we would have been itching for it to come back. We would have been like, all right, let's go another season. And we would have been ready to go, but I don't think we would have been anticipating it like the way we are starting to now.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of and chat? I want you guys to chime in too. It's good to see Dabu back, Mike the Doctor, Ryan McCord. Always great to see you guys. But do you think it's good? Like, you look at the past 3 seasons, it's kind of been, up and down. Nothing's been like, the prime, like you guys said, X's 2, Rivals 3, Rivals 2, like those seasons. So they're like, okay, we just need like a complete overhaul. We need them to kind of forget about the past and almost restart kind of thing. You think that's the route they're going with?
I hope. And if they were smart, they'd restart it with something fresh.
Oh, come on.
They're not.
Wait. That's right, Andy. Thanks for reminding me of what Alex and Adam always said on the podcast. What was it, Alex? Was it Fresh Meat 3? And
Fresh Meat 3, yeah. A third one with Fresh Meat.
Watch it.
That's where Kenny came from. People forget that.
I love
it. I completely forgot that. I know down below, these two guys right here are the biggest Kenny guys of this podcast. I think they're ride or die with him. So, gotta respect them.
So should we get kind of right into that point in terms of state of the challenge and kind of how far downhill we've gone? All of our diehards know that we do State of the Challenge, maybe once a season on our weekly recaps, where I feel like we're more focused. We try to recap, the state of the whole franchise, but I feel like in the season we're more focused on like how we're flowing episode to episode. Whereas now, since we're a little removed from it, we're in a downtime. I think we can really talk like big picture, kind of like where the challenge is headed. Because I don't think it's a good place.
And we kind of hinted at it as the end of that last season, where it was like, if CT wins, is that not worst case scenario? As much as we like CT, it's terrible for the game itself. It's the same person winning. So
I remember that being a pretty big embrace debate on here.
Because you were against it, right?
Against him winning,
you were fine with him winning. I think.
Yeah, I think I was on team.
Like it hurts the game.
I think it was Andy's point that if CT won, it would be good. I'm being legit here because, as you know, I listen to all these episodes. Allie LaForce on TNT, bad. But I remember Andy making the point that if CT wins that season, it would basically be an exact replica of the prior season, which I can't even remember the name of them anymore because of how bad they were. But so because of CT winning again, it would get in BME's mind that something's got to fucking change because, I mean, what's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, no, you got the same fucking result. CT carried a pretty bad mixed rookie chick to the final and they won. I know Casey wasn't a rookie, but it's the same formula and it's not entertaining after a while. So I think I agreed with that something's got to change and hopefully CT winning makes BME want to change.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else on that? Alex, did you want to chime in?
I mean, yeah, I think I was on. I just think no matter how the last season ended, whether CT finished first or second, I still think we're in basically the same place. Obviously, it's not good when you have, the same champions, winning it every single season. I think, what is it? Like CT's won like 3 of the last 5. And even between there, it's like Bananas and Jordan are the other guy winners. Like it's the same thing. We need better competitors. If somebody comes on like a Turbo, like a Theo and makes a splash, bring them back. instead of casting all of these guys we're seeing now.
It almost seems like let me ask the question this way. You look at like Marvel right now. Back in the day, you would have the Captain Americas, the Iron Mans of the world, the big four. You would have those Avengers. Now they're all gone. So now you're kind of rebuilding this whole new Marvel universe. Who's the big dogs? Like nobody. So we go to the challenge. You have the Bananas, the CTs of the world. Who's the face of the challenge right now? Like if I'm being honest, who is the face?
You know
TJ.
what's weird? I think it's got to be TJ. But I think if you were to rewind like 2 years, the person that it seemed like they were trying to make the face of the challenge was Cara Maria.
Yeah.
And now she's gone.
Yeah.
So they have no clue which horse they're betting on to lead the franchise, but they're doing a terrible job pumping these new people in.
Absolutely.
And again, I think Mikey the doctor called out in the chat, all these American Idol people, and I think that's an interesting form of idol. But like you got to start. There's so many people out there that want to be famous, that want to get on shows, that want to do this stuff. Why can't you just find a bunch of like young, athletic, and as much as I hate Fezzy, like he is a former athlete. He's athletic. He likes to compete. He's like a stick in the mud when it comes to entertainment. But there's got to be hundreds of people out there who are entertaining, athletic, want to just go out, get drunk, have fun, compete in challenges. There's no way it's that hard to find people who are like that also want to be famous.
Well, to Alex's point, like why not bring like Theo back? Like he came out on Twitter the other day, like I'm completely fine. I am healthy. The eye is not an issue. I wanted to be back. They didn't want me back. Like, why?
And that's at least, optimistically, I'm hoping that that's part of the reason for such a long delay that we're in right now. Maybe they really, are looking themselves in the mirror. They see all these clowns that they've been casting season after season, and they're kind of like, this is where, like, the first building block is the cast, is getting a good cast, getting a good mix of people on. And, instead of just, going to all these random shows to cast people, like actually think about, all right, who would make for the most entertaining, athletic, attractive looking cast that we can get, just like we had back in the day. And that's kind of step one to get a good season. And so maybe I'm hopeful that that's part of the reason why it's taken so long, is because they really want to nail down availability for a lot of the heavy hitters.
Yeah. And Jenny, don't forget about Jenny.
Yeah.
They've gotten in a couple decent people to like be long-term staples, and they're just not. And I don't know if it's because I think Jenny and Theo are both based overseas. So maybe it's like complications of getting them to come back over, and same with like Turbo. But then it becomes, all right, well, as much as it's fun to do War of the Worlds and bring in all these other countries, why not get people, or why not bring people on to say like, you have to have a 3-season commitment if we choose to call you back. Like that can't be hard to iron out. And who's going to say no to that? Like, I think they're lacking good talent and also retaining talent once they do come on. Yeah.
Talking about other people that have been on the going to Dabu's point in the comments, what do you think about, like, we said Cara, not like she's just done or whatever. You don't think Paulie and Cara, if they were like, here, you guys are the face, like Bananas isn't here, none of your enemies are here, basically, like, why would you not want to do the show if we pay you?
Oh, I don't think they're getting invited. I think they're desperate to get on the show. I don't think that's the issue. Yeah, so I don't think it's the cast members
declining it.
Oh, I mean, they've probably said that at some point, and I'm just going to call bullshit on it.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Paulie thinks he's the greatest challenger of all time, and he hasn't won shit. He's been in more redemption houses than finals. I mean, that's I think an actual stat. I just made it up.
To be fair, Paulie's point, he literally is the only person he has invited, and this video chat has been to his beach party or whatever. So, people do forget that.
God, I mean, I didn't want to be the first person to bring this up, but at some point we got to get into the All-Stars piece of this, because the All-Stars thing is a real thing. And I know you guys shit on my opinion of All-Stars and the quality of the content, but the fact of the matter is they're legitimately offering the people that we want on the challenge to instead do All-Stars, which is with more of their friends in a shorter amount of time for the same amount of money. So that's the problem right there, is that all the good people we want, All-Stars. All of the bad people that we don't want, main challenge. BME fucking up.
Well, here's something interesting now. The whole shift of the challenge now, it's shifting so much on Paramount. And, the weird thing is, like, I don't know if you saw on Instagram and on Twitter, MTV's gone now. MTV's not even in its bio anymore. It's not even on it's not MTV The Challenge. It's The Challenge now. And I remember, I think it was last season, I brought that up saying, I don't think MTV is going to be a part of this anymore. I think they're going to be shifting. We'll have to check the footage. We'll find it somewhere. But what do you guys think about that aspect first? And then we'll lead into All-Stars 3 and all the hype. Because, I think it would be so much better if they dropped All-Stars 3 on MTV. I feel like that's a better play for them.
Well, I don't hate getting out of MTV because MTV is essentially Chive TV, where it just runs the same thing over and over and over, but it's ridiculousness. And I hope that with Paramount Plus, and I mean, I don't know streaming versus cable TV or anything like that, but maybe we get to see them drop some F-bombs. And I mean, there was that one scene where Tori and a bunch of other chicks were swimming around topless in the pool. I mean, there could be some positives of just changing platforms, but I hope that there's also some sort of realignment in terms of MTV does not have any control over what happens on the show, and that helps it, which could happen. And maybe that is also causing some delays in terms of getting production, everything all ramped up and up to speed. And I don't know if that's just optimism, but I'm hoping that Paramount Plus change, or CBS or whatever it's going to be now, is going to be for the positive, because there's been no positives with MTV's The Challenge in the past 5 years.
Fair. I just think it's just classic, though. You turn on MTV, and I mean, it's just better how everybody's watching the show at one time. That's my biggest thing. Everybody tunes in at 9 o'clock or whatever. We sit there for 90 minutes on our ass watching the same show, and then at the end we recap or whatever. So there's people, the challenge Twitter's buzzing. Now it's so spread out. Who knows when that's going to happen? So sorry for interrupting, Adam. What were you about to say?
No. I think Alex was trying to go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say something. So I was going to say, basically that point is we've seen with the whole MTV thing that MTV and The Challenge are going through a Brad and Tori-esque divorce right now. And we don't really know what that means. But I think really, in my mind, there's only two possibilities. One is it moves over to Paramount Plus, which, like Trev, you're saying, is, it would be a weekly drop. People watch it at different times, and it just doesn't hit the same. We don't know when we would do the recaps, things like that. Or it would move to another channel live on TV every week. And I think the only real channel that it would go to would be CBS, because that's who owns, all of that. And my only fear about that is it's going to shift more in the competition. This is such a dramatic athletic event where it's we always want a strong element, and this is what we've gotten away from the past 8 seasons, is we want a strong element of the dirtiness and hooking up and just all of this stuff that MTV is kind of known for. And so I would say normally this breakup with MTV wouldn't be a bad thing. It's just put them on a different channel, but we just don't know what the outcome is going to be, and I don't see a lot of positive scenarios to play out for this.
I think positive scenario, maybe they're using All-Stars as a template or a dry run, if you will, call it preseason, where Ballard makes his money. I think that they're looking at it and saying, we have success with this show. We are showing, or, actually playing the cuss words like Andy was mentioning. We're making sure it works. I think it is important, to your point, Alex, that or maybe it was Trev, can't remember, but having it be at one time as opposed to a bulk drop so everyone can binge watch it. I don't think the challenge is a binge watch show for the when it's actually dropping. When you go back and watch seasons, definitely binge it. But when it's brand new, you like to build up that anticipation week to week, very Euphoria, Succession-esque. Whereas some other shows might be more keen to that type of a drop. But so they're using All-Stars as a template, and I wouldn't hate if this show was on All-Stars as long as they kept it a consistent, day of the week and time of the day so that we could do these live streams with Mikey the Doctor and Ryan McCord. That's how I see it.
Yeah. So
Well,
Mike the Doctor brings up a good point. If they move to the Paramount Plus, do you think that affects how much viewership being, spread out like we talked about? You're now paying for a stream. I mean, hell, we all share the exact same account. But still, like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of moving. I do like Andy's point of it's more you can put stuff not on TV on the streaming service, but like I don't know. Is that really worth it? I don't know.
Do any of us actually know how all that works though? Because I'm pretty sure they don't actually care about viewership as long as like Paramount Plus pays them to have it be on the streaming platform. I don't think it actually matters how many people look at it, is my point, as long as Paramount Plus pays the production company to put it on the platform, I think. But then again, I don't know shit.
God.
I can say with 50% certainty that's accurate.
Wasn't the whole thing that started the All-Stars thing, wasn't it Mark Long and like his production group or whatever? Like or am I wrong on that? Well, I thought it was him that kind of spun it up, and I thought
I remember back in the day on Twitter he was like going crazy, bring back the OGs. We want the OGs, I believe the name was.
Yeah, I think they brought it up on that podcast Derek's on. But
what podcast is that? Is that the one where you have to charge? What is it, like $500?
It's like Challenge Mafia or whatever.
About that, yeah.
Derek and Steve, I think.
Challenge Mania. Yeah, it's all
right. You're right. I actually do have a little bit of knowledge on that. I listened to that pod a few times before I canceled my credit card number.
Oh, I think he just lost him with the credit card. I think his service went out. Oh, he's back. Okay.
Yeah, I think basically Mark was the one that stirred up enough like talk around it, enough discussion over the Twitters of the world that BME realized like, oh, people actually would like this. So it's a BME production. It's Buna Murray. It's just on Paramount Plus, but it's not. Mark was just the one that kind of like got the ball rolling. He didn't actually like produce it or any shit like that.
Well, and one thing that we haven't talked about that I do know I'm going to miss is I think one of my favorite sounds maybe in the world was yeah. Because the second that came on,
warning, the phone.
It was game time. Locked in, let's go. Well, I'm going to miss it.
God, did anybody watch Robin Big back in the day?
Yeah.
That was OG MTV.
Yeah. So, yeah, what else should we talk about?
So, I mean, we can all agree. I think this is kind of what Adam was alluding to earlier, that at this point, we're 3 seasons in, and basically All Stars is cannibalizing the flagship, mainly with their cast. And I think it's kind of started to flow into basically like the enthusiasm just in general from Challenge fans. Like they're pumped to see All Stars come in every 9 months or so, whereas like we kind of said, these past few flagship seasons, they roll up and everybody just gets out of bed, dips their toes in the pool, and then just kind of watches from the sidelines. But I think everybody is just more intrigued about All-Stars. But I also think maybe that's starting to run out now that we're 3 seasons deep. I think the real lore of it was like that first season where it's like we're bringing back a ton of old people. Now, I feel like by the time this 3rd season is done, maybe they'll take a longer break and kind of just reevaluate what the All-Stars plan is, because you're getting these same old people coming back 3 times. And it's like, we've seen you the past 3 seasons that, all the shine is out of there.
So very Champs vs. Stars, Champs vs. Pros-esque. Like that by the 3rd season, you are scrapping for those stars/pros.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Well, here's one thing that would be interesting. And I'm just going to describe the format that I'm picturing in my head.
Oh, God.
But All-Stars is obviously building up traction, building a good following, all the OG guys. Who's to say you don't have a season called like Passing of the Torch where you get half of those people, like 15 of them or so, and get the ones that are consistently still going on All-Stars? Because All-Stars can't survive because those people are going to literally start like breaking their bodies by still doing this. But then you bring them on, you bring in a cast of 15 new people. You have them draft who they want, and then you got a combo of a lot of OGs, half a cast of newbies, and that's like, again, the passing of the torch of these are the new people coming in. You hope that of 15 new people, you get at least like 8 to 10 people who stick, and then that starts, all right, these are the new people we're building the show around. Who says no?
God. I'm fine with that. Sorry, I was trying to add Adam back. I don't know where he went for a hot sec.
I think it was Magic Jack. I heard most of that. It kind of sounded like the idea that I put in the chat, like before you kind of got started on that spiel, which is Fresh Meat 3. I think I've been saying it a few years now on this podcast. But
wait, what? Can you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, Fresh Meat 3, I just think we really need like an influx of people that want to be on the challenge. So, you know, like I've just been preaching it for so long at this point. It's like,
are you saying like you want like 15 veterans, maybe like kind of like a passing of the
torch? Like a passing of the torch type of deal, you know, like LeBron to Durant to Giannis, like that type of thing. Like, let's just, you know, pass it down.
God. Alex, what do you think about that idea?
I was going to say, have any of you guys heard the speculated format for season 38?
Oh, God. Well, before
it is
out there, can we just go around and say what format we want to? I have no idea. Can we just go around and say what format we would like to see for season 38? And then Alex at the end can reveal what spoiler kind of is.
I would be down for dual 3. I think that'd be a good one.
Ooh. I'd be down for a third in a series.
Oh, my God.
You're going to steal my idea again?
Fresh Meat 3, baby.
I think we need to go back to like X's or rivals.
I don't think you can do X's
take
right
both.
now. Or you can't do either.
What do you mean?
Not with new people.
Well, who says they're new?
Who was that red-faced Nate kid? Like the chunkier guy who was on X's with a girl, and we knew neither of them. So it was like,
God.
how are we supposed to know
God,
that
West beat them, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't do a real X's or rivals without getting a season or two of new people in the fold first.
What about like Nate and Christine?
Who?
Exactly. Jumping out of the airplane. We just talked about that.
Wait,
right?
isn't-
Didn't we?
The
I'd be
Nate
down for Invasion too, only if they got like Jenna's sister, Wes's wife, like people like that, like those types of family members. If you catch my drift.
Nani's cousin.
God, you already did that.
God, remember Invasions with CT and hand caught in the cookie jar? That was
What?
all time.
That was awesome.
I don't.
Adam, when he's putting the beads on or whatever, and then he stopped. They all stopped for like 10 minutes.
TJ packing the
what the
production
fuck is
cart, just
going
watching
on?
them on camera.
God, yes, I was at the BC in the basement.
Were you?
Yes.
Well, I
Very
think we watched the
Final
finale.
Reckoning-esque.
Yeah,
What's that?
LA?
yeah. I think we watched that finale down there. One of those damn seasons that. All right, so the real format for season 38 that's been speculated. Again, they haven't started filming yet, but because they're starting to, I think, form the cast, the format that's been leaked, it's called Ride or Die. Potentially might be the season name, and it's supposed to be like
Ryder?
basically like friendships, but like male and female.
Oh.
So you would potentially have like Casey and Fessy be a team, or like Bananas and Nani.
Bananas.
Like two people that have always kind of been ride or dies. I'm sure some of them will have some sort of like past romantic flings and whatnot. Some of them won't, but I think that's kind of the format we're going for. Obviously it's similar to some of the formats that we've had in the past. It's just there's no season yet called Ride or Die or something like that. I feel like these days they don't really like to repeat that much, but I think that's kind of the format they're leaning towards is, 13, 14 teams, one guy, one girl, and they have some sort of history with each other.
Gotcha. It's all right.
And I ain't mad at that either. But again, that kind of plays into what I just talked about with Trev's ideas. Is like, I don't want half the teams to be ride or dies of a guy we don't know and a girl we don't know. Like,
Well, let me go this route with you. I think I just heard your answer, Andy. But do you guys, if you could only prioritize one thing being like top notch, would you say it's the cast or the format? You could only do like one all out.
I would say the cast.
Yeah, I was leaning towards
too.
the
Okay,
cast.
me too.
So I feel like if you get a good cast that the majority of fans like, most formats will work. And
they're almost irrelevant, really. Like, as long as you have your challenges and your eliminations, like that's what the challenge is. So the format can honestly be.
I also think, thinking of this format, because I can already picture it now. What they also need to do, my opinion, is stop the switching of the teams. So like ride or die, I can literally see them changing partners 4 times during the season. Like, oh, you win an elimination? You want to stay with your ride, or you want to ditch them for a new one, or something stupid like that.
I'm with you, and that's the problem.
Totally
is
agree.
when they get on these weak cast members who aren't stirring up drama and alliances and everything like that on their own, then they feel the need to overcompensate by creating a format that then forces that to happen. But like back in the day, it was always like no one knows what the format is, but that is going to be your teammate or your team for the show, and then alliances are naturally formed.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're trying to force that down the cast members' throats because these cast members suck. And one of my favorite things back in the day is when you get a good cast on and you see them on episode 1 and no one knows what's going on, but everyone's super fired up because the cast is good and they're like, oh, what is it going to be? Rivals? Is it going to be exes? Is this going to be something totally random? That anticipation, you could see it in the cast members' faces because they loved that anticipation just as much as we did. That hasn't happened in years.
Totally agree. Was it X's 2 when Nani walked up there and TJ's like, Nani, you have a lot of options here. It's very almost sexist in a way, slut shaming, but hilarious. I totally agree. And it reminded me, well, not reminded me, actually struck a comparison in my head that I think BME is a bit Frank Reich-y in the sense that they have pieces there and they try to make it way more complicated than they have to. 3rd and 1 at the 1-yard line. You want to do a pole wrestle between CT and Fezzi? No, let's do a twist where you switch partners and get a fucking puzzle. Or Frank Reich, 3rd and 1 on the goal line. Do you want to run it up the middle of Jonathan Taylor or do a sweep and have T.Y. Hilton throw it underneath his legs and fucking Pittman tries to catch it with his asshole cheeks squeezed together? Like, they just try way too fucking hard when they have all of the good pieces right there. It's like a 4-piece puzzle. Just put it together. 4 pieces.
What do you think about?
On top of that, that is easily done with a good cast. You get a good cast in play, you don't need to throw any other curveballs in the mix. There's going to be drama. There's going to be alliances. There's going to be backstabbing. Like, you don't have to do too much as long as you get the cast right.
What about, I'm looking at Mikey the Doctor's comment. What if they did a big enough game? So let's say 15, it would be 30 guys, 30 girls. So literally the biggest game I think ever. But what I'm saying is, what if you did guy partners, girl partners for Ride or Die? Is that even possible with the people that we like? Because I feel like Nelly and Corey on a team would be awesome. What?
60 people?
Where are you going to find the house? What are we going to do about cups?
We're having trouble scouring together 10 good cast members.
Okay.
We had fucking Gabo and Huey on last season. You want 30 extra of those Havels?
Okay. Normal season, Rivals 2. What was there? How many teams were there? 2 teams of 12?
12 teams of 2, probably.
Sorry, whatever. 12 teams of 2.
Yeah, average season is like
that can't be
30.
right.
Average season's like 30 to 32 people.
I think it used to be lower though. I think Duel was 10 guys, 10 girls.
Mm-hmm.
Trev, I get what you're saying though, because if you're doing guys only and girls only, if it's 32, that's 8 teams on each side. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if you do 15 teams on each side.
Yeah, that was too much. I'm trying to think. What was Rivals 2 was definitely more.
I think there was 8 teams for each gender.
Yeah, so 32 total.
Yeah.
Wow. That game was that small? I was thinking like 12, 15. That's why I said 30 for total. Well, knowing them, that would be like a 52-week season. It would be terrible to recap. We are live. Come here with episode 52.
God, see, that brings up a really good point, because I think another good thing that the All-Stars has going for it is that it's only like 10 to 11 episodes. Whereas like the last season, Spies, Lies, and Allies, like I can't, I know CT won, but I don't remember the season because like it doesn't feel like one confined season. It feels like just this whole blur of a whole fucking 8 months of my life where I can't really like remember what specifically happened. So I like the like 10, 12 episodes tops. And then you remember like beginning, middle, end.
Well, it brings us back to what we've been saying for how many seasons now. Bring us back to the classic format. 60-minute episodes. Let's just do a little drama. We'll go to the challenge, a little drama, voting, elimination. Next week on. The end. That's what, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And if it is broke, fix it.
Yeah, and like the old seasons, to Adam's point, like in the glory days, they were all, whether this one was better than the other, they were all memorable. Like a season ended and you could remember like these were the 3 teams that made the final. And like I used to be able to remember like almost in order of like how the teams went home, because you would remember the teams that were close to the final. You would remember the teams that went home right away, because there was only 10 eliminations to remember and then 2 episodes of a final. Like it was shorter seasons, and you could think back to that season and be like, oh yeah, I kind of like that season because these 3 teams were in the final. I was rooting for this team. This other team that I was rooting for got cut right before. This was a really good elimination challenge, whatever. Whereas nowadays it's like people are switching teams every single episode, whether they win an elimination, lose an elimination, don't do anything, their partner gets stolen from them, so they have to switch. There's 20 plus episodes, they're 90 minutes, and so it's just hard. Like the more there is, the harder it is for us to like remember it and really like think back and be like, oh, this is, I can remember that, like Adam said, I remember that CT won last season. I remember that he won the season before that. I don't remember much outside of that. It all just blends together.
Well, the thing is, too, like, God. The thing is, like, how many people did Corey have as a partner? Like, seriously, last year? I mean, we literally, like Alex said, we literally had a segment called Who's Corey's Partner? Like, why? I don't know. To me, that's just, it needs to stop.
It does. No, it's spot on. When they change up teams, it makes it hard for us. When we don't have what Trevor said of a 60-minute episode where you know exactly what's going to happen, we don't know what to expect on any given week, and it's super hard to keep track of it. And then to what Alex and Adam said, remember what happened. Like at most back in the day, there was like one to be continued or one episode that didn't follow the standard drama, challenge, drama, voting, elimination, end. There was only a handful of those throughout any season. So like now we have no clue. And it's like, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Like now we have some 60-minute episodes, some 90-minute episodes. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who like 45 minutes in, I'll look at my phone and be like, well, I guess we're not getting elimination tonight. Like that happens all the time because they don't stick to anything consistent. And it makes it very hard for us as the viewers, fans, award-winning listeners to try to keep up with.
Yeah. Anything else should we bring up? Wait, and also correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. Since December 22nd, have we had – this is now season 2 that we've had of All-Stars since then? Like I know this is season 3 total, but season 2 was after that, right?
I think it overlapped it. So, yeah, I think the ending of All-Stars 2 was after the ending of the last flagship show.
Correct, because that started mid-season of the last flagship because we talked about doing both and then did not.
Yeah. So, anything else, or where should we head now? A little draft?
Yeah, I think we need, if we got anybody in the chat still, I think we might need an order of the 4 of us, Alex, Trev, Andy, and Adam. I think we might need somebody to give us an order of those 4 names that we can follow. Because I think kind of basically, the state of the challenge thing we've been talking about all night is how we can fix the challenge. And I think we need to get an order of the 4 names that we can follow. Because I think kind of basically, the state of the challenge thing we've been talking about all night is how we can fix the challenge. And I think kind of basically, the state of the challenge thing we've been talking about all night is how we can fix the challenge. how we can fix the challenge, what we could do to make it better, because the state of the challenge right now is lower than it has been, lower than it should be. And so I think we're going to do a little round table Mount Rushmore of things we would do to fix it. And so obviously you guys know we picked 4 things. This is going to be the second thing where we basically have subcategories. And so what that means is there's 4 different things that we have to pick. You can pick, I think we can pick them at any point. It's just like filling out a fantasy football roster. You have to have all 4. So there's going to be 16 picks total. And so the 4 of us are going to make a little Mount Rushmore. We'll do a snake draft. I think the 4 categories that we're going to do to help the challenge. What do you think? I think we do a male cast member that we'd bring back, a female cast member that we'd bring back, and then
I say a format and a twist.
Format and a twist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love those ideas.
So those will be the 4
great ideas, Trev.
Thank you.
Those will be the 4 categories.
If you would have invented that idea, you would have invented that idea.
Those will be
and
the
so
4
just to be clear, these are things we're drafting to fix the challenge. Is that the official title of the draft? To fix the challenge?
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And obviously when any pick is taken, nobody else can take that pick.
And just to clarify, season 38 we're talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this was season 38. Okay, cool.
Right away, way to save it. So yeah, I think so. The order is Alex, Adam, Andy, Trev. Trev will be first with 2 picks. I'll go first here. I'm going to go for the format category. And I think we're talking about just the overall season format, what we would do. If you leave it up to me, I'm making next season X's. I'm making next season X's. I would go X's 3. I think you get a male and a female together who have some sort of history, and it just creates really good drama. We've had 2 seasons of it. I think we could go for the 3-peat here. And then that's obviously pending on who the cast is. But if you get the right cast, you get the right real worlders who have hooked up before, maybe even a little Johnny Riley and Nani team. I think that's a little sleeper. But I think that's the format that I like. I think it would, no matter who you get, as long as you get some good people, there's drama there. And it would be a good season, straightforward, 13 teams, 26 people. Let's go.
I ain't mad at that pick at all. I'm always in favor of a new X season. I believe I'm next. I think I'm gonna take my female right here, which might be a little off the grain of this group, but I feel like a lot of the big name guys are still kind of in the mix. Alex took a good format, so I don't want to go that direction. So anyways, I think I'm going to go with Laurel. I would love to bring back Laurel, get her back into just consistent, every season, 2 out of 3 season type of cadence, fuck shit up, not apologize for anything, hook up with a few dudes, hook up with a few chicks, win 95% of our eliminations, and just really be a force back in the show. I'm gonna go Laurel.
Good pick.
Great pick.
I love that pick.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna go, and I got 2 things that I really want to grab, but I can't let this fall to Trev if he were, for whatever reason, to take it. I'm gonna go format. I'm gonna go with something I've been saying for years that will fix the challenge. Like, I've been talking about this exact thing for seasons and years now. I'm taking.
I think we lost audio. I don't know. I
heard invasion. I'm pretty sure I heard invasion.
I thought I heard invasion.
Put it on the spreadsheet.
Invasion? All right. So Andy took invasion. All right. So am I up now?
Yes.
It's about to be Rivals 4 with me and you, Trev.
Rivals 4. He picked Rivals 4. All right.
I'm taking for my format fresh meat 3. Bring the challenge back. Get us back to where we need to be. That's my first pick always. I am Beyonce always.
Sounds good. One other thing. How realistic does this have to be?
Somewhat.
I mean, in terms of
Somewhat
like
realistic.
physics, like scientifically,
could I choose Andy Burge as my male?
Yes. I do still get emails from Bune and Murray, and that's why, because they haven't reached out to me about the challenge, I'm a little concerned
All right.
about Fresh Meat 3.
Season 38, the only person I want to see back, just because I love this person to death, my boy Jordan. I need Jordan on season 38. I love Jordan so much. I know he's back on All Stars 3, but him and Naya, can we talk about that for a hot sec? I didn't see that shit coming. I just think Jordan brings so much. I think somebody tweeted it a couple nights ago. Might have been Alex, a little drunk tweet. Jordan Wisely appreciation tweet or something. I just think he is the definition of what the show needs. A young, fresh face, that brings drama, and he's very athletic. He has one hand, and he's beating people in challenges. He is the man. Yes, he's a complete dick at times, but he is what the show needs. So I'm going with Jordan Wisely. For my twist, I think the twist is pretty obvious. I think what needs to happen is you need to have, and this will go with my format towards the end. I'll save that, no spoiler. But I think you need a fresh face to come in, or a familiar face, to come in towards late in the game, almost popping up on the screen late during stuff. I think you need an invasion of the champs to come on. I think you need Bananas towards the end of the game. I think you need CT towards the end of the game. I think you need Kenny towards the end of the game. I think you need these big dogs to come in and fuck shit up. Like if there's like the final 4 people and it's like an invasion head-to-head at the end, I think that'd be fun.
So would your twist then be mercenaries?
I think you'd call it mercenaries.
I would say invasion of the champs late in the game.
For your format?
No, for my twist. Like you're bringing in champs.
Okay, so to be clear,
mercenaries. We can do mercenaries. That's fine.
No. I think you're not saying mercenaries or invasion. I think you're saying like what Bananas did on the whatever Vendettas or Final Reckoning finale, right?
No, I want these people. I want these 4 people. Let's say guys or girls. If you bring on Cara, bring on Bananas, whatever. Late in the game, they're in the game. Like they get like a bye. They get like a 5-week bye or whatever.
I think those were technically called mercenaries. Like when Ashley and Hunter won, I think they were.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
Just for documentation purposes.
I'll do
our fans care about this, so
mercenaries with legit competitors.
Do you want to say like champion mercenaries?
Well, who knows what champs mean these days? I'm talking like Hall of Famers, the STP Hall of Famers.
Mercenaries that can enter the game.
Yes.
Okay.
But are STP Hall of Famers.
And champions.
Yes.
And the females are bad. A lot of criteria.
So I'll go that.
God, who's up?
Andy's up.
Is it me?
Yes.
Is it me or is it Adam?
It's Andy's second pick.
Okay, it's me. So my second pick, I think I have what I really like all mapped out. But I will go with I'm very torn. I'm going to go female. And I'm going to go with Georgia. I think Georgia, and granted, like when I'm thinking about cast members for male and female both, I'm thinking about people who I want to be integral parts of the show. And Georgia specifically is no longer that at all, but I thought she was really good for the show. She always tried her hardest. She always was like somewhat of a threat in challenges, eliminations, whatever you want to like view it. And she was also super entertaining. So I really like Georgia. I wanted to see more of Georgia, and I think she could be a staple female competitor for the next 5 seasons.
I love that.
And she's also pretty bad. And I don't know what sort of final she won recently, but I wouldn't mind seeing her on screen again.
If you want to see her on screen, just ask Bear. He'll hook it up.
Jesus Christ.
We'll cut that.
God. All right, who's up next?
All right, I'm up next. I won't belabor this one. I think I already mentioned it earlier in the pod. I'm going to take my format and I'm going to go back to duel. We'll call it duel 3. 12 guys, 12 girls, stack it up with some of the legends, and let's just fucking have at it. Individual game. Nothing else to say.
And are you going pretty similar to like the entire format? Meaning like, because I did kind of like how in those dual seasons, wasn't it like you would have a challenge, you would have a winner. I think it was most of the time one guy, one girl. And then they would kind of do like the picking, like I'm going to save this person. And it just goes guy, girl. And then whoever is last pick for dodgeball is going into elimination. And then they have their own pick. I kind of like that.
I mean, I didn't know if we were allowed to make modifications. I don't know if this was
you can.
We're like ordering a la carte. A season is kind of wayer back. So I don't remember all the specifics you're talking about. I guess I would keep it pretty much the same. Although I like when guys and girls go on the same day. It kind of like helps the season just keep going forward in a faster pace and keep it consistent. So I'd change that part, but otherwise keep it the same.
It's a good pick.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I think I'm up now with 2 picks on the wraparound. My first pick, I'm going to go twist. I have a format already. I'm going to go twist, and I'm going to go a properly executed redemption house as my twist. And that's the key, is properly executed. We've seen it good in the past. We've seen it bad in the past. I think the best way that I can recall it being done is the season on X's 2, when it was basically I think it was online only, which would be different in today's streaming world, but like it was online only. So it wasn't part of the 60 minutes every week. And they only had one thing where Bananas came back, they were hyping it up. Why the red face? Like, I think when you do something like that, that's how to do it. And I think you can maybe even like show it in the regular episode and maybe even add a little bit more to it. But I didn't like, the seasons where the redemption house would fill up and there would be like 4 or 5 teams in there at once. And it's bigger than the actual house. And they have like the most random ways of like bringing them back in there. But I think a properly executed redemption house is a good twist to kind of keep at least one team back in the game, everybody looking over their shoulder.
Great pick.
Yeah. No complaints.
And with my third pick overall, I'm going to go male, that I'm bringing back to the challenge. And, sometimes I can't sleep at night because it's late and I'm just thinking about like ways that we can get this person back on the show. And I'm going Mr. Tony Reigns, Tony time. And I know we joke about it a lot, but like he would be a legitimately good person to bring back to the show. He's evolved as a challenger. He was not that strong and not that athletic when he came on, but he has evolved into like a pretty intimidating, like physical competitor compared to a lot of these guys that are on. And more than that, he has the perfect mix of like good challenger, but also like amazing TV. He's, he has a family now, so maybe that would take a little bit of the edge out. But like, if you remember those seasons when he came on and he was sober, not fun. He was not fun at all. But when he came on and he was kicking trash cans at Camilla, breaking eggs, like, fighting his own brother, pushing him into a wall, kicking the trash can at him. Like, those are the types of degenerates that makes this show the show that we love. And when you have somebody that can at least compete, I want to bring him back on. We've talked about it for years. Let's get Tony back.
That's a great pick. And I know we've talked about it, and more specifically, you've talked about it, Alex, about trying to get Tony back. I think that's a great pick.
Adam is up, right?
Yep, Adam's up. That's a great pick. I am going to go with my twist next. I don't feel like you guys are going to like this pick that much. Curious if the chat agrees or disagrees. So you have some twists that kind of pop immediately. So like Mercenaries, CT, Banana Backpack. That was like boom. this is more of like a longer term play in a twist. But do you guys remember the Relic? It was on War of the Worlds 1 or 2, I believe. And basically it's if you win an elimination, you're safe for the very next elimination. And I like that because for the first half of the season, it will help prevent, tossing J in there every time until he loses, tossing rookie X into the elimination until they lose. I like that early. It just kind of would help like a season as a whole play out better. So it's not going to have the pop as like a banana backpack, but I'm going to go with the Relic for my twist.
That's a very good pick. Underrated.
Thank you.
It puts the target on people's back earlier when they otherwise wouldn't. Yeah.
Fox.
Andy,
I'm going to go. So I've got Mail and Twist left. Trev's already used both of those picks. So I've got 2 unrestricted picks here. I'll go with Mail. And I think there's still quite a few good ones out there. But someone that I think is been on for a while, has seen what the old school type of challenge people are, good competitor, pretty good entertainment. He's had, I don't know if you know this, but he does have a kid, maybe kids, but he's got the popcorn muscles. He's got some kids he's trying to win for. I'm going to bring back Corey for my Mail because I think he's good now. He's seen how things are supposed to go. He can also still be around for the next 5 years. So I'm going Corey.
Hasn't Corey done like every season?
Keep him coming. Corey's one of those guys that's going to be on the show for more than half of the season. He's going to be entertaining. He's going to be a threat. He's got the IQ of about a 2-year-old. Like, he's just a fun guy to watch on TV.
I guess my point is, if we're trying to fix the challenge, he's already on the challenge. Like, the Chiefs aren't out there looking for Patrick Mahomes. They fucking have him.
I don't want him to leave. The challenge has proven that they don't care about retaining good people, good cast members. If they were to just not renew Corey, I think that's a big miss.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
So I got back-to-back picks. I have email and format. Yes, in format. I'll go
What are you thinking?
female
Like
first.
missionary, doggy, like your female format, or like
What? I'm looking at. So Laurel and Georgia are the only 2 girls picked yet. I'm gonna go. I really want to say Emily, but obviously I have a sweet spot for her. But I'm not going there. I'm gonna go Cara Maria. I want her back just because she sucks, but she does bring that drama. No, like it's good to hate people on the show. I think like you want it, like Fezzi, for example. As much as we bash him, I love having him on the show. I love talking trash to him.
He's
I love
literally been on this show.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I love that. I love Andy being able to talk that shit. I love how you guys have picked up on the University of Tennessee. I just think like, at the end of the day, like that's the shit we live for, Chattanooga. So Cara and Paulie, I mean, I'll just go Cara. I wonder if we could get both of them. I don't know. But Cara is just, would you say she is in the top 5? I think she's definitely top 5 greatest female competitors of all time. I might even say top 3.
Oh, yeah.
So she's still young. She still probably has it. I mean, you see those pictures of her staying in shape, doing those weird-ass workouts with Paulie. And, I think she still has a lot left in the tank for her. So I'd love to see her back. My last is my format. And so far picked we got new X's and fresh meat. I'll go Rivals 4. I just really do love the Rivals. Like just 2 people to a team. They stay partners the entire game. There's nothing. It's simple. It's sweet. It's perfect, I think. If they can bring in a good cast with that, nothing is better, I think. So
Are you going same gender teams or opposite?
Ooh.
Because then that was what Rivals 3 was with Bananas.
Rivals 3 was. I think realistically, if they were to have to go Rivals 4, it would have to be boy-girl partners. I don't think you could find enough Rivals girl-girl, boy-boy. You think so? I like both formats anyway. I would rather see boy-girl partners because then you could have more teams instead of like what we talked about earlier, Rivals 2, where there's 8 and 8 or whatever. So I'll stick with the boy-girl pairing.
Okay.
I like that too, especially because some people out there, not me, but some people out there think that when it is boy, boy, girl, girl, the girl, girl elimination episodes are just terrible. Not me, but some people. So I do think when you get boy, girl, it's kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat.
But
again, not me.
But didn't they used to have it? I say back in the day, in the glory days, when it used to have boy, boy, girl, girl, there were 2 eliminations. It wasn't called a double elimination. You would get 2 eliminations in one.
Not
episode.
on Rivals. Not on.
It
Rivals.
wasn't like that.
I think they alternated. EPs.
Oh yeah, because you got what wasn't one of the seasons like that though? Or am I just crazy thinking that?
I think you might be right, Trev, but I think that's
Duel 2 like that. Duel 2 might have been like that.
Yeah.
And did they do that in a 30-minute episode?
They did it in 15 minutes with commercials. All right, so Rivals 4 is my pick.
Good pick.
Good pick, Trev. All right, so now is it me?
I think Adam.
Okay.
No, it's not. Definitely not.
All right, so it's me.
Yes.
All right, so I'll go, and my last pick is going to be a twist. And it's a small twist, but it's a twist that I've always smirked at. It used to be a staple in the show, and this hasn't happened in a while, at least to my knowledge. But I love the pre-finale, maybe even one episode pre-finale location change. That is awesome. It used to just keep people on their toes. Oh my God, we're going to Argentina. Like that used to be just a staple in the show. It didn't really mean much in terms of how it affected the game, but it was a twist and it was awesome. And it was just like, all right, here we go. I love this.
Great.
That's such a good pick.
That's a good
very.
pick.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like a cousin of the We Got a Clue from TJ when they come in running with the T-Mobile sidekick.
I feel like it also leads to like really good examples of like how dumb some of the people are. Like I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, we're going to Czech Republic," and then they just like clearly don't know where that's at all. So I think that's a very, very, very good pick. Very good pick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm up. My last one is one male. I intentionally left this till the end because there's just so many good ones to choose from. And I think I'm going to go with a guy that I know I talk about him all the fucking time on here. So apologies for belaboring the point, but I've just been the biggest fan for the longest time. And I think it's time to bring back my main guy, Kenny. Kenny, as you will remember from Fresh Meat 1, just a legend of the game. Bananas, CT, West, they're still in the mix. So I don't need to bring them back. They're going to be back anyways. I'm bringing back my guy Kenny. Think it's probably the best pick you could possibly have in the 4th round.
Wow, great pick.
Adam, I'm not surprised that you went there, Adam.
You know me. Kenny's
That
my
is
guy.
a low blow. Low blow.
You picked Corey.
Oh,
Corey?
That is true. You have Kenny right there.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Kenny's like 40 years old. I'm thinking long term.
God.
Oh.
Alex, last pick of the night. Who you got?
All right. So for my Mr. Irrelevant, I got one female left. I'm going to Nisa. I'm just kidding.
I'm out if that's your pick.
All right. No, I have one female left. I was going to go Cara Maria. Since I'm last, I think I can talk through some of my honorable mentions. I was thinking Emily. I was thinking Sharissa. I had to audible last minute without Cara, but I think for the female that I'm going to bring back, I'm going to go non-racist Camilla. Is that fair?
Ooh.
I'm going non-racist Camilla. And maybe that doesn't exist. Then that's fine. I got no pick. But
You said somewhat realistic.
Camilla
Yeah, there's like a 10% chance.
before she, showed her true cards, so to speak, was a lightning rod. She was awesome to have on the show. She was winning seasons. She was winning eliminations. She's the only person, I believe, besides Ninja to beat Laurel. She was bad, very bad. But yeah, I mean, these past couple of years, she's completely gone off the deep end. Got banned from the show, so obviously her income stops. I think she had a couple kids maybe. And some of the stuff she was posting on Instagram was just like insane, like she was on drugs nonstop. But yeah, I mean, in her heyday, Camilla was the staple girl that you had coming on crazy, running into the pool. Couldn't understand her saying a lot of very problematic things. But if I can get a version of her that is a good person, but still brings all the rest with her, I'm going Camilla.
Wow.
Great pick.
Do we want to just rapid fire any honorable mentions? Because I've got one for males.
Let's hear it.
So again, not someone who's necessarily been a stranger to the challenge recently, but someone who I think is a focal point that I'd like to see. It's going to be Devin.
Oh,
Devin. I used to hate Devin so much, but now he's one of the only few guys that is like a normal OG type of competitor. So I would love to see Devin.
Andy, what was your twist?
My actual twist was the location change.
Okay, so your picks are Devin.
No,
Who'd you say for girl?
Corey.
Oh, Devin was your honorable mention? Okay. I was going to say if Devin was your pick, it would be Devin, Corey, Fresh Meat 3, and a location change. I think you just described the last 3 seasons that we've already talked about how shitty they were.
Fresh Meat 3 has been on nothing. Georgia hasn't
Fresh
been
Meat
on
3 is every season we've had. It's been 15 new people. Huey, Gabo, Cecilia probably. I don't know, a bunch of random names I can't remember.
But there's also teams changing left and right. I want half people who are good for the show, half people that are brand new. They're partnered together for the full season. At the end of it, they get a location change. What the fuck do you mean this has been the last 3 seasons?
Very similar. Very similar. Georgia was a great pick. Georgia was a great pick. I'm on
Fresh
board with
Meat 3
Georgia.
wasn't this. What we've seen is nowhere near what Fresh Meat 1 or 2 have ever even been close to.
Before
we'll get into that.
The only one that we've had has been Corey, and I want more Corey. Sue me.
I mean, it's a good pick, but Kenny was a great pick, and I got him in the 4th round. My guy.
I honestly too. I think a good I don't even know what you label this as. If it's just miscellaneous as like a 5th category, but one thing that was always classic about Fresh Meat was the tryout portion.
Yes, the draft.
I was thinking about that, but I didn't know what to label that as.
That was good.
Because I was thinking combine. What Alex was when Alex was talking about like the sidekicks and all that. If we want to do a quick like honorable mention run through, what are some shit that we want to see back? Like I bulge at the guys all the time. DK, Niels, shit like that. The Top Gun, even as simple as the intros from like what's it called? Where they used to ride on the elephants and stuff and like
ruins.
Shit. Like I love that stuff.
You know, another one that I feel obligated to say because I don't think we got it last season was trivia.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Trivia's got to be every season, no question. Yeah.
An honorable mention that I had for twist would have been because the twist that I did was a properly executed redemption house, something similar, but I would say like a skull twist where somebody actually gets sent home because they didn't go win an elimination. I complained about that a lot on here for I think 2 seasons they did it where they hyped up this huge twist. You have to go in, earn your spot, and then like everybody got a chance to do so. And so like skating by didn't hurt anybody. I hated that.
When you said skull twist, I was thinking like from Rivals 3 when you reach in and pick up the black skull, like you pick up a gold one by accident and it's like, see ya, you're eliminated. I thought that's what you were going for. I was like,
remember when Jordan flipped the cards?
Yes,
Draw.
that's a great format too. I bulls at that
Free
because
agents.
everybody's on their toes.
God, honorable mention Swift. Get him back. The jump into the crowd.
The key.
I think honorable mention twist is something that it's never actually happened, but we've definitely talked about it. Is like the captains, or sorry, for format or twist. I don't know what you'd call it, but like doing a season where it's like CT, but then like Laura, Emily, Cara are like the captains of a team, and then that's like that team is their team for the season. That'd be pretty good.
I also, I don't know if this is format too, but more of the games, like the actual daily challenges, are more carnival game-esque. Like I think of like free agents where nobody knows how to drive a stick shift car. They've got to drive 100 meters down the road. They get off and then they're on a bicycle. One person's going one way but steering one way, and the other person shit like that makes the show. Like now it's the same thing. You go here, you solve a puzzle, you do this, the end. It's the same shit every year.
You hang over water, then swim with your puzzle pieces, and then get up. And you're tired, and you put it together.
And CT wins, and then
Can I get a check?
Vote in rookie beats other rookie.
Exactly.
Team change. Same
rookie
shit.
gets a skull that means nothing.
Yeah, so stupid.
Yeah, or the old Rivals construction where they had to mash up a car, push it under that little pole.
Wasn't Wes sitting on Kenny's lap for that?
Yes.
God, the challenge is dead. Bring that back.
Remember, what was it? Was it Rivals 2 when they were tied together with Bruce's shock collar around their necks and they had to walk through the maze? Shit like that.
That's awesome.
Also, format that I really love is from Fresh Meat 2 and 1 is the eliminations where people don't see it. I really do.
Yes.
Because then it comes out it's very lifting a trophy up. I know before Andy tries making a joke at me about lifting up trophies, but I just think it's that anticipation who's coming, and then you literally see, and it's you either get the half the house going nuts, half of them just storming back in. It's just something I enjoy.
And it also keeps the elimination itself as a mystery. Absolutely. And then you got the classic, oh, tell us about it. Oh, what happened?
Yeah.
I like that too.
I do think one of the things format-wise that they kind of basically toy around with every season and have not seemed to get it right the past few is how they vote for people. I think back to some of the old days. I like when people have to go around a circle and say a name and the person you're saying is sitting right across from you. I think that makes for so much more entertaining. Whereas I think, wasn't it this past season where they were literally doing it on iPads? And people were peeking over their shoulders. That's so stupid. I don't like these seasons where it's anonymous. I like having to say somebody's name to them, and they always seem to be fidgeting around with it and can never get it right.
Dabu writes individual bank accounts. What that was? Was that wasn't Ruins, was it?
Yes, that was Ruins.
They did that on Vendettas too.
Oh yeah, they did.
I remember Leroy made it to the final with no money because he just didn't do anything the whole season.
Classic.
Yeah, I'm hot and cold on that one. Not a bad pick.
God. Anything else?
How do we feel? I'm not saying I'm advocating this, but how do we feel? Because one of the more prominent twists recently has been at the end of the finale, to take the money or run, to split it up across the teams. How do we feel about that across the board? Because I'm not a big fan of that, aside from the OG take the money and run.
Yeah, it's a risk every time you do it, because if it doesn't land, then it's just kind of all right, that was weak as shit. But when it landed with Bananas, it was incredible. And even Ashley was pretty good. But I don't think you need it as often as they're doing it.
No.
Yeah, I think the one they did last season when CT was basically handing people money just felt weird.
Yeah.
And the one with Ashley and Hunter was good, but I feel like 83% of the Bananas take the money and run was effective because it was the first time they did it. It was something that we had never seen, and so it just loses some of its steam. But I feel like you could still pull it off if there's a team that, similar to Bananas and Sarah's, had an actual rivalry and kind of mended fences, but you can't really tell until the end. And so I think it could be used, but it would have to be in the right spot.
Totally agree.
I'm trying to think of a format I think I just don't know how you would do it where, like, let's say CT goes home in an elimination or something. And if it's the winning team or whatever, can choose if they want to keep CT, like, like steal partners almost. I'm trying to think of how you could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could save CT like as your partner. Like, if you're let's say you win the daily challenge. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just I'm just trying to think of a
Yeah, dude, that sounds so sick. They should for
I
sure
like that
do
one.
All right.
Can't believe that fell to honorable mention.
Steez.
God.
All right. Anything else? MVP, LVP tonight?
You want to start, Trev?
Yeah, I'll start. MVP, LVP.
I think we're doing of the
off season.
So you can interpret that however
Good
you
idea.
want. Maybe there's some sort of spinoff that's going on. Maybe there's some sort of drama that's going on.
Yeah, sure.
Whatever you want.
My MVP is tonight. Being back with all y'all, the original OGs. Nothing better than that. We got, actually, I should say, the 5 OGs. Me, Alex, Andy, Adam, in the chat. Nothing fucking better than that. Love being back. I know we've been slacking the past few weeks. We've kind of been in a little challenge hangover as well. But I know me and Alex have been talking. We definitely have some things stirring coming up around the corner. So just be aware. So my MVP tonight is just being back. Love being here. Love doing these podcasts. Nothing better. So
good pick. Trev, pick who goes next.
We'll just keep the same order. Andy's up.
Me?
Andy's brother, that is.
Friend Adam.
All right, Andy. Brother. Andy, you're up. Same order as.
We told you to get off the rails. We got there.
You can't be off the rails if you're already off the rails.
Geez, the MVP for the offseason, honestly, that's a tough one because there's not a whole lot of MVPs. But I'll give it to All-Stars 3. All-Stars 3 is the only thing that's out there right now. If someone has the challenge itch, they can still scratch that by watching All-Stars 3. I have not watched a single minute of it because I do not have the challenge itch because I don't care about where the challenge is at right now. But I think I got to give it to All-Stars 3. The best ability is availability.
There you go.
Good pick.
I love that. That's a great pick. So it's hard not to pick Wes for me just because I don't come on here as often as you guys do. So I feel like when I'm on, I need to give it to Wes for the numbers and the statisticians out there. But I'm not. I'm going to give my MVP of the offseason to TJ. TJ is the only person that gives me a little bit of hope. We didn't even really talk about this whole like CBS challenge bullshit. And I'm not mad about that at all. It sounds like a big auto skip for the pod. But I do know that TJ is the host of that. So it gives me a little hope that it'll at least be decent. So that happened in the offseason for TJ. And then also first few episodes of All-Stars, I've only seen 2 of the 3 that are out. But he just looks fucking fantastic. I mean, as handsome and as dapper as ever. So I'm going MVP of the offseason to TJ.
Good
Always
pick.
a great pick.
Can never go wrong.
Yeah, blanket MVP.
My MVP of the offseason, I'm going to go CT. And the reason why is it's almost been 2 years since somebody not named CT won a challenge.
That's
in terms of guys. It was Bananas 2 summers ago. And if you think about it, that's going to go on till we see the finale of the next season when like a next champ is actually crowned. That's going to be what, 7-8 months from now at least. And so it might go into 2023. Wow. And so we might enter 2023 being able to say like CT is still the 2-time reigning champ dating all the way back to 2020. So it's mainly based off the combination of him winning the past 2 seasons plus the long gap that we're getting right now. Like he's just still the champ.
I really
It's
put them
2020.
all in
Wow.
perspective.
Oh, wow.
Sheesh.
Some speechless.
So my LVP for the offseason, I'll go first, right? My LVP, I'm trying to think of somebody who's been in the challenge news lately for something bad. Usually you think of the Karas, Paulies of the world. I can't really recall anything that's going on lately. No real LVPs from All Stars in my mind. I'm gonna go Scott Yeager. I feel like you can't ever go wrong with an LVP to that. I can't believe I can't believe people are still falling for that. Like the $50 a month or whatever it is. I heard some clips recently of like their live shows, and it's like he introduces guests as they run down. He's literally just screaming into the microphone, just being obnoxious. And I think they had a second kid, so congrats for that or whatever. But I'm just going LVP of the offseason as Scott Yeager.
Smitty.
Good pick. LVP for me, like Alex said, there's not a ton. I actually quite like this person I'm going to pick, but my LVP is going to be Tori. And this dates back to her coming up short again on the finale of last season. We shit on Steve Yeager or whatever, but we don't talk enough about how bad Tori's challenge podcast is as well.
Who's she on with?
Anissa. Ooh. So, I mean, there's that. And then also, she broke up with Jordan, who is on All Stars killing it and looking fantastic. I've always thought he kind of looks like this one, like terrier breed of dog, but just killing it. And she no longer is with him. So, I like Tori. I think she probably will get a ring one of these days, but she's my LVP for now.
Gotcha. Andy.
I actually thought this was a no-brainer for LVP. My LVP is MTV.
Great. That's
I mean, they only have ridiculousness now. That's
yeah.
So I thought that was a pretty simple pick. I'm happy it fell to me. I'm going MTV.
MTV and Rob. It's your deck.
LVP. God, that was my pick. My LVP, and I was going to bring it up when Alex said his MVP, is going to be CT, though. I think him winning that much, I mean, the fact that we haven't had a season in that long shows how desperate the challenge is in right now, the state of the challenge. We have not had a winner not named CT since when, Alex? 2019, 18?
20.
Whatever.
Is that CT's fault?
Yeah. But why is CT the LVP?
This doesn't make any sense.
I'm just saying, I'm sick of seeing CT's name. Let's get someone else in. It's a bad sign. I guess it's more of a state of a challenge. But
You've always gurped at CT. This pick is just riddled.
Dude, his title this year was a Make-A-Wish ring. Like, it was very Mickey Mouse, LeBron James-esque in the bubble. I mean, who was his hardest competitor, Adam? Seriously, who was his hardest competitor? Name one person.
Scuba Nelly?
Oh, get the fuck out of here. God.
Huey was pretty good.
God. Literally, CT's ring is the equivalent of like MJ towards the end of his career, getting rings. LeBron's going through more Hall of Famers in one span than literally. So,
well, I'm so confused. Why does this make CT an LVP?
I'm just saying I'm saying it's just a bad thing that CT is still the reigning champ. That's my reason.
Why is that a bad thing for CT?
It's not CT's fault. It's just the fault that he lost.
Why is he the LVP?
Because he is still our reigning champ. That's the issue. We have not had a season that he has not won.
Honorable mention CT Jr. because with this long break, CT is actually home for a little bit.
God,
he literally makes the final.
God.
Ooh, Mikey the doctor just threw someone in that we have not talked about. But now that I see that, I would have 100% changed my answer from Corey to Ed from the Circle.
Yeah, you just went from an F to a D- of a pick. I'll allow it.
Any other honorable mentions?
It's the legend.
MVP, you guys for your CT's wedding special episode that fucking had me dying when you played the audio clip of those hooligans coming into the house. That was just I was dying. So that was great.
Honorable mention, LVP. Just because this just pops up every so often when I'm listening to music. Does anybody even know this girl's name?
Emmy.
God, there it is.
God,
I actually kind of liked Emmy.
she was okay. I think since and maybe one of you guys tweeted this, but I don't think it's been discussed on a pod. But I'm pretty sure Big T announced her challenge retirement. Is that fact or fiction?
Correct. I think
that was big news.
I ain't mad at that. Big T news.
God.
There's no way I can let an honorable mention for LVP go by that I don't give to Fezzi. I mean, we just had the NFL draft. The NFL draft just happened.
He almost.
I was looking for him. I watched every pick, waiting for him.
Well, he was behind the scenes. He was training NFL guys with Corey. I don't know what you're talking about.
No. He just wasn't in the green room because he's an introvert. So like he was just at home.
God.
Good point.
But you already know that.
God.
That was good.
All right. Anything else, or should we wrap this up?
I think we're good. This is a good pod.
Great pod.
Kind of just all over the place tonight. Any lasting remarks, Andy, Adam?
Thanks for having me on.
Hope to see you.
Let's do another full Mount Rushmore here sometime soon.
Sounds good.
If Buda Murray's not going to pump out content for the people, it's on us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I 100% agree with that. Be on the lookout. We'll be doing some more podcasts in the next few weeks, and definitely be out on the lookout this summer into fall. And a few other special guests will be filming the 5-year anniversary of Stir the Pod. Who would have believed 5 years? But here we still are. We'll get into that more in a little bit. So thank you guys for listening to a brand new Stir the Pod podcast show. I've been your host, Trevor. You can follow us on Twitter at Stir the Pod. You can follow us on Instagram at Stir_the_pod. Thank you guys. Love you guys. Shout out Duffy.